session with 3 presentations on maps. Looks like it's going to be really interesting. First up, we've got Junaid Abdul Jabbar from University of Cambridge. So I'll hand over to you, Junaid.
Thank you. I hope mic is working now. Hello everyone, my name is Junaid Abdul Jabbar, and I'm going to be talking about development of a cross-platform interoperable geospatial search framework for Survey of India map collections. This work is done as part of Mapping Archaeological Heritage in South Asia project, which is based at University of Cambridge and is generously funded by Arcadia. We have also collaborated with British Library and Cambridge University Library for this work. So starting with some background to MASA project, it is focused on documentation of archaeology and cultural heritage of the Indus River Basin, which covers Pakistan and Northwest India. This work is a collaboration between researchers and heritage professionals with an aim to provide an open access mapping resource and research repository using ArchIS database platform. To do this documentation, we are using a number of data sources, which include legacy data publications, ground-based field surveys, we are using satellite imagery, and historical maps as well. For historical maps, we are using Survey of India maps that were made as part of Britain's colonial past in subcontinent. These maps document location of thousands of mound features. And a big advantage of these historical maps is that made in early 20th century, these predate the large-scale agricultural and urban expansion, which has proved to be a temporal limitation in case of satellite and aerial imagery. So copy of these map sheets have been deposited with UK libraries. When we started working with these map sheets, we realized that there were a number of challenges in terms of discoverability, findability, and accessibility, because these map sheets were existing as a collection of text catalog paper maps, and there was not really a digital interface or a geospatial search interface where we could find which map sheets are covering a particular area for the project. And this task of identifying overlapping and differential collections across libraries is amplified when you are dealing with a large coverage area. For example, in case of our project where we have to cover whole Pakistan and Northwest India, as you can see in that image. And working with these maps, we also understood that these maps are really a multifaceted resource because they have their own historical and visual value, and they are record holders of rich metadata. For example, their custodial history, physical characteristics, information of any related persons, for example, surveyors, traversers, or surveyor generals, their different additions, as well as their historical context of creation. And we thought that the value of these maps can be immensely increased if these are made part of a linked ecosystem where we can bring together the rich digital images, comprehensive metadata, all while following best practices and standards to increase their findability. To make a system for that, we had some design considerations. Because we are working with ArchIS database platform, so the solution had to work with ArchIS because the use of this is a fundamental requirement for MASA project. In interaction with local heritage professionals from Pakistan and India, we have realized the challenges of low resource environments in Global South, so the solution also had to be a bit lightweight because from our work with the maps, we saw that the high resolution map scans could be up to 400 to 500 MB in size per sheet. And also looking at some of the available solutions out there, like the geospatial search interface available from National Library of Scotland, we realized it would need a completely different technology stack and also some additional resources. So keeping ArchIS as the centerpiece of this solution, it is an open source database platform that was jointly developed by Getty Conservation Institute and World Monuments Fund. For cultural heritage data management, it offers a variety of features and capabilities for data management, discovery, search, and visualization, and also allows for customized data models depending on the individual project requirements. Arches uses side-hoc CRM ontologies to promote interoperability and works by mapping data onto CRM classes through a specialized graph structure that is known as resource models. And thinking about the images, we came across IIIF, which provides a set of open standard for delivering high quality attributed digital objects online. During our initial meetings with libraries, we understood that IIIF was already being used for some of the image collections, and extending it to Survey of India map collections would be really useful and also in line with the broader user base of libraries. And then the MASA database instance of Arches can point to those IIIF images hosted by libraries through URLs to increase their findability in a scalable and sustainable way. In terms of workflow, we started with identifying the required map sheets and then ordering scans for them, high resolution scans. And then the group of researchers with MASA worked with libraries to generate comprehensive metadata, which has more than 40 attributes, including details about the respective repositories where these map sheets are held, their publication dates, places of origin, any physical characteristics like folds or stamps, and many more. In terms of the spatial component, the Survey of India 1:1 wild map sheets that we are mainly working with are divided into 0.25 to 0.25 degrees. So getting the general extent of the map sheets is relatively straightforward. However, to use these map sheets for the research and documentation of heritage sites, we needed to do high accuracy georeferencing, which in some cases there are more than 20 GCPs per map sheet. And these high accuracy georeferenced map sheets are fed into a machine learning algorithm to automatically identify the location of bound features. We have the georeferenced map sheets that we have done so far are covering over 890,000 square kilometers of area across Pakistan and India, and you can see the growing GIF of progress. So in making this structure in Arches database, we made a resource model for historical map, which included fields for metadata attributes. There is a field to record IIIF image URLs, and then we can also link this resource model to other database resources, for example, repositories. So it promotes normalization so that we don't have to repeat the attributes. So many map sheets can link to University of Cambridge Library or British Library to promote best practices, and then or related persons, for example, surveyors generals or surveyors. And then there is also a branch to record if there are any other additions for these map sheets. To add the spatial extent, we are using duplicative format, which is a requirement for Arches. And in this image over here, you can see some list of attributes that have been added in Arches, and then also a field to enter IIIF URL and the linking text. Now I'm going to try a live demo and hope it works. So this is the landing page for the database. We have a search Arches option over here. This is the interface that a guest or an anonymous user would see. We do have more data in it, like the heritage site location, but due to the sensitive nature of that data, it has variable access levels with logged in users. So you can select different resource models to search the data from. We have a listing of all the items on the left side, and then a map canvas over here with some more features that we'll see in a while. So user can search for records in a variety of ways, like simple text search for any, like if I enter Rajputana, it will filter out all the map resources that have Rajputana in their name, or in any attribute, and then we can click on map over here to zoom onto the specific geometry that covers for that region. And you can also click on it to see that this is the Rajputana sheet number 76. It was created in 1887, published in 1887, and then the publication context for it. Users can also do advanced search to, for example, if they want to see all the map sheets that are related to a particular person. So you can enter the name of the person over here and select that, so it filters out all the map sheets related to FB launch. And to see what kind of relation or the relationship graph, you can click on related resources. So it shows that this Maharashtra sheet is currently held at University of Cambridge, Cambridge University Library. It was published under the direction of FB launch, and it was georeferenced by one of our team members, Maria. So users can also search these map sheets in a geospatial way. So we can create a polygon or and draw it over here. So it would give you the listing of all the map sheets that are intersecting with this area. To look at the attributes, one thing you might notice is that some of the squares are darker in color as compared to others. That's because there are more editions of these map sheets. For example, if I click on this one, this is a map sheet from 1909. We have entry for this, another edition from 1910, another from 1912, and another from 1929. So to look at the report for these map sheets, there are a number of ways you can do that. So users can click directly over here and it would open a complete resource report for this map sheet with all the attributes, and these are also again relationships. So if we click at University Library, it would open its own record with all the relationships. Or we can click on a map over here as well to click on report and see the similar report. In terms of images, since this is a thing in progress, so there is a subset of resources that have IIIF images embedded in it, and for that we have added a saved search over here that says maps with IIIF images. So if I click it, it would filter out the records that have images right now available. And if I click on this resource, Punjab number 39, there is an option to view IIIF URL. When we click on it, it opens the high resolution IIIF image for this map sheet from the library server. Similarly, there is manifest and opening with mirrored over as well. If the users land directly onto the library servers into the map collections, they would also see an option to view and tune master database. So if they will click on it, they will be directed towards the master database. So over there they can do the search queries through the geospatial capability and other filters. Right, so that's mainly with the demo. I'll go back to the presentation and safely skip these slides covered in the demo. So yeah, so in terms of outcomes and path forward, as of now we have over 135 map resources that are available in master database. IIIF images for these are in process of being hosted at both the libraries. So this is really a scalable solution. We can import more historic map records into it with potential to link with more IIIF map collections as they are available. And this extension of IIIF or Survey of India map collections really removes the barriers and concerns of siloed repositories to increase the findability of the map resources manifolds. In the end, I would like to thank everyone who has contributed and supported this work. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
So much, that was really interesting. Next up, and apologies for the pronunciation of names, we have Leon van Wissen, Ingeborg Verheuel, Hadewijch Dekker from University of Amsterdam.
What complicated Dutch name.
So complicated. And the hardest one,
Margriet.
You said
Margriet Hoogvliet.
Thank you for that. From Alana Pearson. So thank you guys. Are we doing mic swaps for this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Start.
Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. Good morning. Thank you for the invitation to talk here. I'm Ingeborg Verheul. I'm the project manager of the Amsterdam Time Machine, and I will give you a brief introduction about the context in which we are working. And I will give the mic to Margriet. Margriet is curator, Jansonius curator at the Allard Pierson Museum, and she knows all about the maps collection. And then she gives the mic to Hadewijch Dekker. Hadewijch is linked open data specialist of the University Library. And she's also a metadata specialist for years. And then Hadewijch passes on the mic to Leon. Leon van Wissen is data engineer at the University of Amsterdam, and he will dive into the project to tell what the current status is. So here we go, in 15 minutes. We are not only celebrating this year 10 years of IIIF, as you all noticed on the bags you received yesterday, the 10 years anniversary of the IIIF consortium, but we're also celebrating the 750th birthday of the city of Amsterdam. And on the left-hand side, you see a document from 12,075 that is in the collection of the city archives in Amsterdam, and it's from Count Floris V from the 13th century. He was the Count of Holland then, and it's the first document that states Amsterdam in writing. So that's why we are celebrating this year with a full year of events and nice things to commemorate this event. And one of the things the university board of our university has done is they have put forward the Amsterdam Time Machine as a birthday present for the city. And that means that the Amsterdam Time Machine will bring alive the history of the city in a digital form through several events, applications, projects and activities that will happen this year. And the project we're talking about is one of those. First, very briefly, the Amsterdam Time Machine is a research project of the Faculty of Humanities since 2017. We have carried out various pilot projects just to show what you can do with linked open data and IIIF in the maps environment. And we're aiming at giving people access to the history of their city, houses and family by connecting digital sources and visualize these on historical maps or in a 3D presentation. In 2024, because the city of Amsterdam has such a rich history as a city of card makers, worldwide renowned in the 17th century, and it now also houses one of the largest maps collections of the world, I would say, in the University Library of Amsterdam. We started a project with maps as linked open data. We first did a pilot with 26 maps to explore how to improve accessibility and sharing of the digitized maps collection of Allard Pierson's linked open data by using standards such as IIIF. And this really has been a cooperative project between the Allard Pierson Museum, the University Library, OldMaps, the Amsterdam Time Machine and the University of Amsterdam Create Data Lab. And it was funded by an organization that supplies national funding to support institutions in connecting and enriching their digital heritage and their library collections. In 2025, we had a follow-up project, and then I give the floor to Margriet.
Thanks, Ingeborg. So, I'm a map curator at the University Special Collections of the University of Amsterdam, and we are kind of a particular organization. We combine university, library, and heritage museum under one roof, so we have quite a range of collections. I'm working for the cartographic collections, which contains printed maps and atlases from the 15th to the 21st century, and it's one of the largest map libraries in the Netherlands. Our focus is on Amsterdam and on global connections of Amsterdam because, as Andrew Pettigrew wrote, Amsterdam was the bookshop of the world in the 17th century. We had some problems. We are working for a library, so our maps are stored in the library catalog, which uses ALMA with as data author, title, printer, year. And it's not really suited for map collections because people ask us, what are the maps of Amsterdam that you have? What are the maps of India that you have? And with this system, it's difficult to find. For example, on the previous slide, there was a map of Amsterdam, one of our flagship maps. The title is actually Amsterdam. So when you search in the library catalog, you don't find this map because it doesn't use Amsterdam. Another problem that I find when working with the maps are the existence of women cartographers. They tend to disappear in metadata, in our own metadata, but also in external thesauri. And one example is the widow of Pieter Goos. You see here an image of her, of a print made by her. It says printed by the widow of Pieter Goos, but our metadata says that it was made and printed by Pieter de Goos, so she disappears. And in addition to being the widow of Pieter Goos, she has her own name, Geertruid van Ruijf, and one of the aims of the project is making these women visible and to improve the thesauruses. So we want to improve the accessibility, findability of our collections by improving the metadata, also based on geographical coverage, and also by making use of linked open data. Users can also find our map collections when they are outside the system of the library catalog. And also the context. A lot of our maps and atlases were originally in an atlas and are now separate maps. And we hope that these maps can be linked back to the original context. And a lot of maps in atlases can be found. You can just find the atlases and not the individual maps in the atlases. And we hope to address with this project these problems. But as a curator, I have a concern. We have a lot of maps with a colonial context, like this 18th century map of the region that is now Guyana. It's called Berbice when the map was made. And this map justifies the occupation and the partitioning of land in Southern America by Western planters, by plantation holders. It's turning the land into tradable commodities and suggests that it's free for taking and that there are actually no owners, that this land can be taken. And the original inhabitants of the region do not have a place on the map, only in the cartouche, where they are, with the darkest skin tone, they are naked, suggesting that they are less civilized than the Europeans. On the other side, there's an enslaved black sub-Saharan man who was deported, and he's carrying as a prop a sugarcane. Yeah. Sanitizing something that was much worse at the situation. So I have a problem with these maps being multiplied, giving out to the world without any context, and especially when these images are being grazed, reproduced by AI applications.
So I will give a quick overview of how our journey with linked open data in the library, where we started and where we are now, and where we are heading. Well, I will leave that to Leon. Back in 2021, we published most of our collection data as linked open data, mapped to the European data model and the core. It was a big step, but we did it as is, which means a lot of literals, strings for names, subjects, and places, and a fair amount of inconsistencies and ambiguous metadata, all lumped into a few broad properties. As Ingeborg said, in 2024 we started with the project, and now we're zooming in on our cartographic collections. And this time we are rethinking our approach and how we want to model our data in line with the NDE. We are first looking to publish the data in schema.org, and we want to enhance the metadata at the same time. Looking ahead, our goal is to publish all our data in open data, our system architecture is pretty complex. We have separate systems for library, museum, and archival materials, and all sorts that fall in between. So we're also exploring dedicated anthologies like linked arts, records in context, and also keeping an eye on developments in BibFrame and RDA. Yeah, and it's also, well, we're looking at how to create our metadata better for linked open data, which is quite difficult because our metadata is quite old. It's created in different times, in different formats and languages. We have both Dutch language records and English language records and different thesauruses for those. So combining all those is, yeah, it's It's challenging. So, but now the maps, we've been publishing them on our collection data at manifestation level, and now we want to use IIIF to zoom in and make them better available. So I leave it to you.
Thanks. So yeah, how are we doing this? We already said that context is key. It's also important for the Amsterdam Time Machine that we can individually address these maps. And currently the library publishes on the manifestation level, or the instance level if you're more into BibFrame. That works well for single sheeted maps, but not for an atlas that can have multiple, a couple of hundred maps. So the scheme we came up with first initially in schema.org, but of course that's not suitable as a domain model to put in all the metadata that we put in, but at least this aligns with goals of the Network of Digital Heritage in the Netherlands and makes it initially available for us, for say the Amsterdam Time Machine to link to. We're introducing here the level of that manifestation that's already out by the University Library, but of course the digitization we have is of a single item of that. The item that's on the shelf or is hanging in the attic of the Other Pearson Museum. So we come up with the level of the holding or the item itself, the book, the physical thing. And actually we want to zoom in into what is on this physical thing. So the depiction, that's the map. So imagine there are multiple maps on the same item. So we introduced the level of this map itself as well. That is of course part of that individual item, and that's the work example of the manifestation. And hopefully another library maybe has another version of this. So we can benefit from the metadata we put in. Maybe we are very good at adding curators or adding creators, illustrators, and maybe another library knows more about iconography. So linking in the future would allow us to sync our metadata and don't do double work. We integrate this with IIIF in the sense that, if you're looking at a single canvas, you're looking at one or multiple maps. And IIIF has this RDFSC also property that you can use to link to a structured version of this metadata, because the string key value pairs in the manifest is not sufficient for linking and publishing this in the open we find. So we do this on the level of the canvas to link to the individual maps. And of course we can do that on the level of the manifest to link to the representation of that physical thing. And of course a web page then has main entity, the thing you're looking at. And there's also the place where you publish this manifest and have a viewer. The level of the expression is for later. That needs a different project. Too complex for that. That's very time consuming if you want to do this for the existing collection. Of course, now it's only the atlas itself and not the 100 maps inside of there. But we reckon that everything gets better once you start georeferencing these maps, because this is implicitly your starting point for adding this level of the individual map. If you start georeferencing, for instance with all maps, you start by selecting where the map is on this canvas. So that gives you already like an object that you can use to further add metadata on the individual thing for which you have the digitization. We do this in the library. We did this for the 26 maps in the pilot, 13 of Amsterdam in the top, 13 of former Dutch Indies. And this is the Theseus viewer that shows them all using the navplace extension. And already having this allows you to search on geographical coverage. It's a simple geo-contains query if you link it to a gazetteer that has coordinate information on places. And the nice thing is that we make sure that we can store this kind of enrichment, this georeferencing annotation, in the library systems itself. So we're storing these enrichments together with the material itself. Also funding in this project a bit of OldMaps, so that OldMaps can also read it from a referenced annotation page in the manifest and not from its own database. And of course, if we publish, if we store these kinds of annotations, it's a small step towards other kinds of enrichment. So maybe text spotting and linking using MapReader, or depicting, classifying, segmenting iconography. These are all the maps, from the pilot, and we are extending this into the other published maps of the University Library with help of volunteers. And yeah, that gives us structured information. That's very nice for a data engineer, but not yet for the general public. And as the time machine, we wanted to do something for the city, for the general public, to engage with these maps as an entry point. And that can be, for instance, an historical map that you have here. This is this old map that Margriet already mentioned. First map that depicts Amsterdam from the top. It is digitized in a very high resolution, and with help of Jules Schoonman we made this available for now as a IIIF level 0. But it will soon be integrated in the library systems. You can see the level of detail in the bottom left, so plenty of annotating to do over there. And we decided to publish a walking route in this app. And more on this at 2 o'clock in the session of All Maps. Bert will dive into this, so stay tuned. But what you see over here on the right is the walking route that Ingeborg walked with the map curator some weeks ago, that she recorded, in which we added a couple of features where a particular interest was, for which we have extra information in our Amsterdam time machine, maybe with pictures from the Amsterdam City Archives or other descriptions from the Rijksmuseum. So this way, this is an app in the time machine where it all comes together, and you don't notice that these maps come from the University Library of Amsterdam. And I think that's the goal for making this data out in the open. So more on this later today. If you want to know more, please reach out. Also love to hear if you have examples of publishing maps in such a domain model like linked art or RDA. Love to hear. And come and visit us, maybe next year. Thanks.
That was really interesting. And now we have Tomas Slavkovsky from Klokken Technologies. Klokken, Tommy, Klokken. Thank you.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tomas Slavkovsky from Klokken Technologies, which is company behind OldMapsOnline and IIIHosting.com. And over the next 15 minutes, I will share how OldMapsOnline has grown over the last decade and unveil the new IIIF workflows we have rolled out, and give you a glimpse of our new platform, timemap.org, a time slider for the world history. OldMapsOnline is now, without a doubt, the world's largest discovery platform for historical maps. We have over 600,000 maps in high resolution and are fully indexed and free to export. And 300,000 webs and catalogs for which we have metadata. Thanks to the community maps uploaded by general public, the number of maps grows very quickly. IIIF was always very closely connected with OldMapsOnline. From British Library to Stanford's David Ramsey Center to other archives and libraries, over 70 organizations trust OldMapsOnline as a gateway for their materials. This ecosystem has been running for almost 15 years and created a very unique platform with very large reach to general public as well to academia. Several years ago, we have been thinking. We have decided to upgrade the system, and we have been asking ourselves, what are the features which we are missing? We have maps, but we lacked context. Therefore, we have decided to bring it up, so we created timemap.org, the most comprehensive interactive map of world history online. Timemap was launched this time last year in Stanford, And on the next slide, I will play a video which we created for this occasion. While OldMapsOnline focuses on maps, Time Maps aims to visualize history itself. Think of Google Maps plus a time slider, layered with Wikipedia-grade linked data. Our goal was to transform the way people access and engage with history, making historical data from ancient Egypt to modern times accessible to everyone. You can jump to any year between 400,000 years before Christ until now, watch borders morph and pull up rurals, battles, or artists in 11 languages, and read more about it on linked Wikipedia. On Time Map worked a team of historians for more than a year. I've recreated the data, and this is the result. With this, we have also upgraded OldMapsOnline to a new level, not only to good, modern, but also there was extensive R&D behind. For example, improved MapRank search, now called MapRank NG, where thumbnails moves as user drags with the map and has advanced sorting. The UX helps the user to navigate between historical maps which are visualized and sorted for easy exploration, and allows you to witness evolution of a place over time. And also you can see data in 3D or in augmented reality. In the regions, you can explore the past political landscapes with boundaries of historical countries, states, and empires of the entire world. Select a specific year and instantly see the transformation of the maps and information. The data covers 6 millennia from the ancient history to modern times. Turn on the rulers layer and you immediately see who coexisted with who. One of my favorite examples is War the Austrian succession around 1740. In the time map you realize that Bach, Captain Cook, Casanova, and Catherine the Great, they all lived around that conflict. On Time Map you can learn about artists, scientists, and other icons who shaped history. That human context is what turns static timeline into living history. Earlier this year, Time Map has received the Czech Map of the Year award for educational innovation. And now back to OldMapsOnline. You can upload any IIIF manifest. Here, for example, 1900th century Leeds street map. The system decodes metadata and when present auto-imports GCPs if the annotation is IIIF extension. It's found. Now almost any IIIF link can be ingested to the system, no matter IIIF version. And we are adding new so-called adapters, which pulls the metadata directly from the institutional APIs. So if the metadata are not present with the IIIF link, you can then specify whether the map should be public or community map. public community map or a private map. No need to georeference the map. Now I need to georeference the map with heading. And after the creator approval, the map is searchable for public. Then you can play with the map, use opacity sliders, switch projections, use different map layers, and even display map over the 3D area. You can export the map. One click gives you IIIF links, the IIIF info JSON, index JSON, and annotation JSON, or you can export as a VMTS or JLD. Now you can drag the IIIF URL to Margriet or Universal Viewer to view the map and use it on your website. This is backed by our completely new IIIF server built for this, and data are cached. We developers love annotation JSON, having all GCPs. Having all GCPs, and they can be used in MapLibre or Leaflet or any IIIF annotation supporting viewer. Under Export tab, in my maps are listed all maps which were exported in the past, and links are available for 30 days and can be automatically extended. There are some limitations, some plans for user in place. However, because of generosity of David Ramsey, all these maps are available without any limits. And finally, you can create VMTS endpoint to use your maps in QGIS for spatial analysis and download map as a geotip. And we don't stop at raster. Any vector layers can be added to our map. And so here is an example where all maps in open historical map can be toggled inside time map, letting users see period correct streets alongside scan sheets. On the right hand side, you can also see mapping ng results, which changes as the user drags or zoom into the map and gives you better guidance what next might be interesting to you. And what are the advantages to join us on OldMapsOnline as its institutional partner? Main advantage is instant visibility across OldMapsOnline through the GeoSearch. Secondly, it's using large user base of OldMapsOnline users to crowdsource georeferencing, but maintaining high quality control in the review process. Thirdly, it's potential to reach new users around the globe. Maps provided through this institution has always a link and logo, and which leads users to given institution. With georeferencing, you will get a large set of tools integrated to your website, and the data are still yours, so you can make precision calculations, IIIF links, IIIF annotations, so you can use those where you like, the NTS map services and geotips for GIS analysis, or just for simple archiving. And of course, metadata export. Those are some maps uploaded from our community over the past several weeks. And this is the link to the map of